Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic with Zuby. My name is Zuby, and if you're brand new to this show, the show is all about a little well-known card game called Magic the Gathering. So on today's episode, we are doing our annual end-of-the-year extravaganza episode where we talk about, my top Magic sets, my top Magic cards of the year, and then we go into, video games and movies as well, too. Normally, we'd also go into my favorite Standard decks of the year, because Standard used to be one of my favorite formats, but this is... Even though Standard sort of shifted to just Arena only for me, I kind of stopped playing Standard, and for good reason, because Standard was, just like 2020, an absolute terrible mess. So, before we get into that, let's get into some announcements here. This podcast can be found on the following: on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify, and I think on Amazon Music now, too. I think. Also... if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me via Twitter at Magic with Zuby, on Instagram at Magic_with_Zuby. And I did start trying to do TikTok more. Just stupid little videos. I'm not going to take it very seriously, but fun little stuff and stuff like that. I think my TikTok is just mtg zuby out there. And if you want to email me for any questions you may have, you can email me at mtgzuby@gmail.com. And I think that's about it. We are also sponsored by cardsphere.com. Cardsphere, the best place to buy, trade, sell your Magic singles out there. Really awesome site. I personally use it a lot. And I guess we will get on with the show here. I need to clear my throat here. I'm sure that's what you all want to hear, right? But that's how we do things here. So before we get into the normal topics, let's just talk about this year. This year has seen a lot of craziness here. And of course, here comes my cat, because, why not? Because my cat this year has decided to become, how I don't have a co-host for this show or even anything like that? My cat Prim has sort of become my unofficial co-host here, because she's just with me every day. And she just, especially lately, she just won't leave me alone. So, what are you going to do? So, anyways, so this year has definitely seen a lot of craziness in terms of the pandemic, the political situation here in the U.S., the rising racial tensions going on, and just it being an election year as well, too. It's just been insanity. And I feel like as of this recording, it's not completely done yet. The worst may yet be to come in terms of the pandemic and whatever craziness, because who knows what the hell these crazy radicals are going to be doing come January 6th. Oh God, I hope not. Oh God. Yeah, I don't want to get too much into that here, but let's also talk about just personally what's been going on. So I've been working from home for almost 2 years now, so that part hasn't really changed for me, but obviously I've gained weight this year. This freaking pandemic, I haven't been going to the gym. I tried going back to the gym before during the summer, and now I've just felt more and more uncomfortable, and I'm lazy. It's like I need a gym to be able to work out in, and I know that's a horrible excuse, but I'm lazy. And it's been one craziness after another. All right, if you're watching the video, you are seeing my cat's butt right now. Come on, cat. All right, come on, cat. Get down. There you go. Yeah, I just had to gently shove her off. Just come on, cat. And it's been a year of a lot of self-reflection and a lot of trying to figure out, what's going on. And what do I really say here? I don't have any planned prepared speech or anything like that, but I just want to take a time to reflect on the past year and a lot of the changes that have happened to us personally, both small and majorly. Of course, the pandemic has created a huge impact for everyone worldwide, and that's something we have no control over. We cannot control that, and So you just have to sort of go through the motions of that. What you can control is your thoughts and how you perceive things and how you react to things. So that is something that I have been trying. I've been trying to see the good in everything, that as much shit gets thrown at us, there's always a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. So past couple weeks, my wife's grandfather passed away. We had no idea that it happened or that he was sick or anything like that. We got a call from the hospital stating that her grandfather's in the hospital and he doesn't have much long to live. You should come up and see him. And as distraught as that was, and as bad as it was, not a situation you want to have right before Christmas or any time really, not just Christmas, but and then getting that unexpected news, because at least when someone is about to pass, you sort of get yourself prepared a little bit better than when it's just out of the blue. But I have to say some of the good out of that was we got to see him before he passed. We got to say our goodbyes, and at least we got to see him one last time before he passed. So, and that's just an example of trying to see the goodness out of stuff. And it's hard. It's very hard to do, and especially and depends on your situation as well too, because everybody's situation is different, and a lot of people have it worse out there, and it's something that we have no control over sometimes. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just want to take a moment to reflect on the good of this year. As much crap and badness has happened this year, what were some of the good stuff that happened to you this year? It could be the smallest thing, like you got a new cat, or you met a new friend, or anything like that. Some of the good that came out of for me this year was that I started streaming more. Like, I had streamed a little bit here and there, but never took it that seriously or anything. But especially early in the pandemic, I just started streaming EDH because fuck, there's nothing else to do. I can't go out or anything like that. So just started streaming more. And then I really started focusing on trying to develop a community for the first time in my almost 5 years of doing Magic with Zuby. And it's not to say that I never had a quote unquote community before. I always had a group of listeners and stuff like that, but really never focused on setting up like a community. So my Discord, I've started growing my Discord, and just the group of people that I've met there that I've played with a lot of times are just a great set of people out there, and you know who you all are. And it's something that I've never really focused on before. And now I'm just trying to build a welcoming community where, as long as you're not a shithead and you don't bring in shithead tendencies, you're going to be welcome. Just don't suck. That's I know that's such a broad thing, like, and just don't suck. All right. And then you're welcome in the community. Just, yeah. But, so I've been focusing on that, and then it's been great. And honestly, it's kept me going, wanting to keep doing content, because as I said, especially last year, I thought I was done. And this year, I thought I was going to slow it down a little bit because the pandemic's going on, and especially early on, because I'm like, oh shit, I'm like freaking out. Because early on in the pandemic, we had no idea what the fuck was going on, right? We didn't know what the hell was going to happen with COVID and all that. So shit, man. But so focusing on building that community and just playing with a lot of those awesome people, helped me, want to create more content, wanted me to keep me in the community and all that, especially with Magic, because let's be honest, Magic community is not always that great. But, you find a few good nuggets of awesomeness in it. So, and the other thing that really helped this year was also doing the other podcast, Magic for Normies, with Pixie Kitten. And I genuinely love doing that. And let me tell you my history of when I've done other podcasts. I've had other podcast endeavors in the past, and if you've followed me, you know what they are. And it's always felt a little one-sided at times. And It's like just one person doing the work, and even when we had a group of people, and having our so-called leader not really pitching in to do any work, freaking cats, and of course they're always like in the background making a mess and not really doing any work for it. It's always felt like a one-sided relationship, and this is the first time that I've gone in on a podcast endeavor where Pixie and I are both doing equal amounts of work. And it's different sides. Like, she comes up with some great ideas and I can expand upon them, and vice versa. I'll come up with an idea and she'll expand upon that. And, it feels like that it's not just, hey, let's do a podcast. Okay, what do we do? No, we're actively behind the scenes, especially when we know we have a show coming up. We're constantly just throwing ideas at each other, and I love that. I love that collaboration between us and just how we come up with some very fun, silly ideas. And that's been a very fun podcast to do, especially when we get to do it live. Like, hearing the recording that you hear on the mtgzuby Zuby RSS feed and even on her YouTube channel, it's still good. It just sometimes not the same. It's definitely a show that you need to see live because it's a lot more fun, because we try to interact, and especially when we play games that interact with the chat as well too. So that has been a very fun endeavor for this year, and I hope we continue on with it because I genuinely love doing it. The other thing that has definitely been good this year has just been, God, what else? What else has been? I'm trying to think of more podcast related stuff. It's been, getting to meet more people, streaming with a lot more, heck, playing way more EDH and with people more than anything. Like, I've played more Magic this year than I have in the past couple years. And I mean, okay, I've got a lot of time invested in Arena, but sometimes I don't count that. It's like, like, it's Magic, yes, but playing with the physical cards in hand and all that's more Magic to me. It's different. It's different, way different. But no, so overall, it's like those are some of the good things that have happened this year, and it's always good to try to reflect on that and not say forget about the bad, because we have to acknowledge all the bad stuff that has happened this year. We can't just ignore it, but we also have to understand, like, there's been some good this year too as well. So let's get on with some of our topics here. We're first going to go into some of the top MTG sets of this year. All right, we are going to be starting off with the top Magic sets of this year. We're going to start from bottom, go our way top. So I will say I don't think I included every single set here, and I definitely did not include all the secret layers because there's just way too many, and I don't count those. I definitely didn't add, so some stuff I didn't add was Double Masters. I think that came out this year, right? And I didn't add any of the Zendikar Commander set or the Commander Legends Commander Precon sets as well too. So those are stuff that just fell off, and I just didn't really care for them, to be honest. So starting off with number 7 is Core Set 2021. It had, the good thing about that set was it had a lot of awesome reprints in it. We had Azusa's Lost But Seeking. We had Ugin in there. Those are the two notable reprints. I'm sure there were some other reprints that I can't remember right now. But those are the two biggest ones that I can remember that definitely got reprinted, especially Azusa. That was freaking crazy because that card's been like $20+ for a long time. And plus, with the set focusing on Teferi, we didn't get a broken Teferi for once. I mean, the Teferi's good, but it's not broken. Hey, good job. Woo, we didn't get a broken Teferi. Next up, we've got Zendikar Rising as my number 6 favorite set of Magic the Gathering. Now, I will say I did enjoy Zendikar Rising a little bit more than Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch in terms of flavor wise. I do like Eldrazi and all that, right? But Zendikar Rising did felt very similar to OG Zendikar, and plus the limited of Zendikar Rising was so much fun. I had a blast playing Limited with Zendikar Rising, with Sealed and Booster Draft and all that. It was great fun. But the thing that I found with this set was there weren't a lot of noticeable, like, it didn't feel that strong of a set. Like, the modal double face cards are very good. I mean, and I say it doesn't feel that strong of a set, and there was Omnath that got banned like a week later, right? Besides Omnath, like, a lot of the cards didn't feel too busted in it so far. Lotus Cobra, yes, very good. Wait, no, the ultimatums, that was Ikoria. Never mind. Lotus Cobra was a very awesome reprint and very strong in this current environment right now. And then you've also got my little buddy Scoot Swarm, Scooty Scoot. And it's such an awesome card. You know, it keeps making copies of itself. Next up, we've got Theros Beyond Death. I loved the original Theros block. Yes, even all three. Born of the Gods was kind of meh, you know. But Theros Beyond Death was a nice return to Theros. And plus, had some really fun cards in there. The draft environment, kind of hit or miss for me personally. It was okay. It was okay. That was about it. Definitely not as good as Zendikar, but I put it above Zendikar because I love Theros more than Zendikar. And it was nice to see it return and see some of the gods again, though it distinctly lacked my boy Crewfix. You know, where were you, Crewfix? Come on. Why couldn't you just make all 15 of the gods? Kind of ridiculous. We need Crewfix back. You know, but overall it was a good set. It did lack a story though, completely. But, you know, we did get the Theros D&D book, which was freaking great. I read that book and it was great. I liked it. I liked it a little bit more than the Ravnica book, to be honest, because I like Theros more than Ravnica. Next up, we've got Commander 2020. Now, Commander 2020, I feel like hit it out of the park, because the past 2 years of 2019 and 2018 were kind of duds, if I'm going to be honest here. 2020, all 5 of the decks were great. You had Otrimi, Cathril, Gavi, the General Juro, or Jury. Crap, I forgot her name. Was there 5 or was there 4? No, it was the 5 wedges. And then, who am I forgetting? Because I got the Sultai, Abzan, Jeskai, Mardu, and Teamer. The Teamer one was, how could I forget? Because Baltan always plays them. The Stegosaurus. Why am I forgetting his name? Calamax. It was like on the tip of my tongue, and Baltan's probably listening to this right now and just screaming Calamax at me. But yeah, Calamax. They were all out of the box. The precons for those decks were miles better than the past 2 years, in my opinion. So great, awesome job. I loved playing them just out of the box. I still have Cathril, just pretty much a precon. The only changes I made was I added the ultimatum for my Ikoria, and I added the Triome. And there was one other card I added. I only really made 3 changes, but for the most part, it's essentially... I added the other mutate Abzan creature, Nethroi, I think it was. Other than that, it's essentially the precon. Like, I did not want to overpower it because even just out of the box, Cathril's fun. I really enjoyed Cathril. Otrimi was my favorite one, though. Next up, for number 3 is Jumpstart. Jumpstart is an amazing idea. I personally had so much fun playing Jumpstart. Pixie and I did a few games of it, and I played it a bunch on Arena. I think it's just an awesome idea. It was so much fun to do, and just a great time overall. The downside to Jumpstart was there just wasn't enough, and I still feel like I have not been able to find Jumpstart again since after this summer. Like, I can't find it anywhere. In stores, that is. Like, online, yeah, sure, I can buy it online. But I love the idea of Jumpstart. It was so much fun. So much fun. And I want them to do another set like that because I feel like it is the best beginner product out there. Just for open up 2 packs, smash them together, let's play, and it's a great way to teach players as well too, in my opinion there, because you're not having to worry about building a deck. You're not, because teaching a new player Commander can be a bit intimidating, right? Because Commander is so vast and wide, and just all the rules are so insane. Jumpstart to me is the perfect sort of jumping point, ha ha ha. So that's number 3. Number 2 is Commander Legends. You'd think it'd be number 1, but it's not. So Commander Legends just hit it out of the park with the limited environment. I only did sealed on Spell Table with it, and I gotta say, even though I did terribly playing it, I had so much fun playing Commander Legends sealed. And there's so many great cards in there. I'm working on building some new commanders and all that. It was just, what can I say? It's just a great set, and I cannot wait for the next sort of commander focused set, because this was just so much fun. Like, I want to keep buying more boxes and just play instead of just crack it for value and all that. I just want to play the set. It's that fun. It's been such a fun, and that's the best way to describe it. It's been fun, and can't beat it. You can't beat it. And I just want to see more. There've been some great cards, new partners in there, really fun. What's more to say about it? And our number 1 Magic the Gathering set of this year, if you guessed it, it's Ikoria. I loved Ikoria. I love the mutate mechanic. I freaking love it. It can be confusing, right? It's probably one of the more complicated mechanics that we've seen lately, and I absolutely adore it. It's definitely way easier to play on Arena because, it does all the rules for you, but on paper, you get used to it after a while. But Ikoria, and the other reason why Ikoria is number 1 is because of the Godzilla tie-in. I absolutely love Godzilla. If you know anything about me, I've seen every single Godzilla movie more than once. And I freaking love the big monster. So it's just been great. It's been a great set. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I loved the draft environment for it. I love Mutate. I loved the standard environment for it for a little bit before Companion. Like, after Companion got fixed, it was definitely better. But what's more to say about Ikoria is we need more giant monster sets like that. I freaking adored it. So those were the top Magic sets of the year for 2020 for that I say that I really, really like. Whoa. The screen changed and all that. So our next step is we're going into my favorite Magic the Gathering cards of 2020. These are all brand new cards, not a single reprint. None of these are reprints or anything. So all brand new cards that were released in the year 2020. And we're going to just start off with the first one here. As you can see, it is Otrimi the Ever Playful. Otrimi the Ever Playful being one of my new favorite commanders of this year and one of my new favorite decks. I took apart Muldrotha and made Otrimi even better with some of the pieces from Muldrotha here, and I love this deck. Yeah, it's a bit glass cannon-y, right? Because as soon as you kill my giant mutate pile, oh no, I gotta start all over again. Oh well, it happens. It's just such a fun deck to play. Like, even when I don't win, if I can just mutate and do some shenanigans, I'm having fun. It's such a fun deck. I love it. I love Otrimi. And plus, I love the art of it. Like, look, he's just sort of bending over, like, looking, hey, everybody. Hey, I'm having fun. I'm a crazy little nightmare beast. What the fuck is he anyway? When you look at this, I don't even know. Okay, yeah, this art is just fucking weird. Like, is that, when you look at what you think his legs are, it just sort of looks like it goes in a circle, right? And, well, everybody watching the video, you can probably see. If not, then just, like, pull up an art of Otrimi and just take a look at that. All right, next up, we've got Falthis Shadowcat Familiar. It's going to be one of my new commanders that I want to build. I was originally thinking of pairing Falthis with Rogak, but I'm changing my mind. I don't know who I want to pair Falthis up yet with. But Falthus, I just love the little kitty. He's so cute. Such a nightmare kitty. He just needs some love. They just need some love. Or she just needs some love. I'm sorry. And its commanders you control have menace and death touch. So cute, though. Look how cute. Look how cute Falthus is. She's such a cute kitty. She just needs some love. And just messing up all the books in the library as well, too. From Commander Legends. Such a cute cat. And I love this card. It's so cute. And plus, and especially when you're playing Commander Legends Sealed, this freaking card here is ridiculously good. Ah, my boy Rograk, son of Roga, the zero-cost kobold. Now, he would be like a D&D character personified that I want to create. So I've had this idea for a while for a kobold bard that I want to make. Like, he's been ostracized by his little clan because, we don't like music and all that stuff. So, go out and get out of here. But now, like, maybe Rograk could be the brother of that kobold bard or something, and he's a fighter, but he's like the smallest fighter ever. But no, dude, just look at this. I cannot wait to build him. I'm most likely going to do Rograk and Arden, because it's just too good. Too damn good. Love this little guy. Next up, we've got the Shark Typhoon. I can't believe how expensive this card has got. I fell in love with this card as soon as I saw it. Shark Typhoon? Oh, so I can just create flying sharks? Yeah, everybody says, cycle the card. That's the best way to do it. I don't care. I like hard casting this, and especially in Commander, because I have this in my Niv Mizzet deck. If I can get this out and then just start casting all my stupid little cantrips and all that, oh my gosh, I've got an army of flying sharks. Boom. What can you say? Great card. Holy crap, is it expensive now? It's like $15-20 now, something like that. Ridiculous. Such a great card, and I love the art. I mean, of course, this is play on Sharknado, if you didn't know that. But such a great card. So good. So good. One of my favorites. Oh my gosh, as soon as I saw this card, Fiery Emancipation, spoiled in M21, I knew this had to go in Torbrand. And I think I've only been able to get this survive once in a game with Torbrand, and it, completely decimated everybody. But I love playing this, and then everybody just being like, oh shit, we gotta take care of that right now. And you're just like, lightning bolt for 9, something like that. Such a great enchantment. Yeah, it's a bit costly, 6 mana, but so great. Deals triple that damage. And plus, when you have Torbrand out as well, too, +2 of that damage as well, too. Ha, ha, ha. Love it. So evil. All right, this next card, though. This next card's definitely an MVP for me. Nightmare Shepherd. So, if you saw me in the last Command Fest, when I played Mono Black Ayara... Oh, okay. Let's talk about that Command Fest for a second there, all right? I got hated on. Chat was hating on me for that, because I freaking killed people with, I was playing my Mono Black Ayara. All right, so let me just put this out here. My Mono Black Ayara is pretty useless when I don't have my commander alive. We had the 3 other people playing with me. 2 of them were also playing graveyard shenanigan decks, like sort of sacrifice graveyard shenanigans. And then we had another... David Darby from WotC playing like token combo stuff. It was a really cool deck, by the way. Like, I'm not downplaying anybody's deck or anything like that, but my Ayara just survived, and when my Ayara survives, it's just starts going crazy. And then chat was hating me on it, which, I did play the Dictate of Erebos at one point, and I can understand that kind of hate. But then, luckily there were 2 donations that allowed me to tutor up, get Nightmare Shepherd out, get Gary out, and then get a Born Overlord out as well too. Nightmare Shepherd, one of my new favorite cards of this year, probably the best mono black card of this year, in my opinion. So good. And Ayara is becoming quickly one of my favorite commander decks I play. Just the sacrifice shenanigans in it. And you just get to, it's so great playing something like Gary, right? And then you sacrifice Gary and then create a copy of Gary, boom, and just blow up the board that way. So much fun. So much fun. All right, next up is the crab. The crab. How could this not be one of my favorites? Because if you ever see me stream or ever see me talk on my Discord, is I love mill. And I'm planning on building an EDH mill deck, Demir, most likely Phoenix. And, this is Ruin Crab. He's basically a sort of soft reprint of, oh my gosh, that other crab from OG Zendikar. I'm drawing a blank. I cannot remember right now. But Ruin Crab, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. Amazing. Amazing. I love it. And especially if you get like 3 of these suckers out, they're milling 9 cards a turn. Boom. Or if you're playing like a Simic version of mill with some ramp involved, oh man, multiple mill. Oh god, it's so good. I can't wait to build that in EDH. Oh man. And then last but certainly not least is Ashaya Soul of the Wild. Now, I built this as a commander, and I may have talked about it before in the podcast, but if not, I'm pretty sure I did, but if you haven't heard, Ashaya Soul of the Wild is, their power and toughness are equal, or each equal number of lands you control, and non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. So, I had the idea of building this. So, there's a lot of ways to build Ashaya, like make it broken and all that stuff. But I set myself a goal of building Ashaya with 0 creatures except for Ashaya. So I'm trying to think, what's the best way to do this? Okay, so I need to animate my forest, right? So that's pretty much how I built Ashaya. Like I have 45 lands and then a crap ton of ramp spells and a bunch of reanimate spell or not reanimate, but animate land spells and fog effects as well too. So that's the basis of the deck. And I just ramp up a bunch and then try to animate all my lands and swing and win. And that's pretty much what I do. Great deck, so much fun. It's been so much fun playing this and love it. I love it to death. So those are all that's it. Those are the top cards of Magic the Gathering of 2020 that are all new cards, none of them reprints, and I can't wait to see what we get for 2021 now. All right, so our next 2 topics that I always have every year is I like to go back and look at what my hopes were for Magic in 2020 and sort of discuss them and see if any of it did happen. And then discuss my hopes for Magic the Gathering in 2021. So some of you actually responded to me on Twitter to talk about your hopes for Magic in 2021, which I will get into after discussing the hopes for 2020. So let's go ahead and get started with it. So I had, just looking back at what I put in last year, I put make planeswalkers legal as commanders. And it's never going to happen. It'll never happen. I mean, I know it happens in Oathbreaker and stuff like that, and even Brawl, but this is never going to happen, ever. And it'd be an interesting experiment, sort of have them do what they did with the unsanctioned thing where they had silver border cards were legal for a couple months, and then do the same with planeswalkers, and then I had Brawl Q every day in Arena, and it did happen. So hey, that did actually happen. It finally happened. I'm not sure exactly when it officially went all the time, but it did happen though this year. Then I asked for Commander in Arena. Not yet. I think we're still a ways off for Commander in Arena. I mean, will it happen? I hope. That'd be freaking awesome, but who knows? And then I asked them to slow down on the products, let sets breathe. We know that didn't happen at all. There's just been product after product after product release. If it's not a new standard set or a new sort of other reprint or expansion set, it's secret layers being thrown at us, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's way too much going on. So yeah, no, that didn't happen at all. And then last hope that I had for this year was bring back Magic Story as better novels. Sort of happened. I mean, we had a novel for Ikoria, which apparently conflicted with some of the card art. Apparently, they said, and then they brought back weekly stories for Zendikar, and they're doing the same for Kaldheim. So, I mean, they sort of brought back Magic Story. I mean, well, there was only one novel released this year, I think. So it was an ebook. So kind of happened. So those were all kind of the hopes that I had for Magic for this year. And let's go into what some of the comments that I had for what you wanted to see for 2021 that I put out on Twitter there. So the first one I had from Jennifer Hanley. If Jumpstart hasn't gotten back to Arena, I'd like that to happen because I missed it. Yeah, I'd like that too because it was Jumpstart definitely a fun time. I wish Wizards would also go back to putting the players' guides in the bundle box. Oh yeah, that's so they don't do that. I have not bought a fat pack or bundle in a long time. Like I can't even remember the last time I bought one. May have been like Kaladesh or something. Did they even have them back then? I can't remember now. So yeah, I'm surprised they don't do that anymore. I wish Wizards would get its shit together and give us boxes that we can use to store our cards. So funny thing about that is do you remember the old gift boxes, like the Kaladesh gift box, the Battle for Zendikar, Khans of Tarkir, the Theros gift boxes, all those? I still use those to this day to store cards, and I freaking love them. Like, I don't ever want to get rid of them because they're nice and sturdy, and for $20, it's like the perfect kind of, place to set your cards in. So yeah, I would love for them to do that. Like maybe it's probably cheaper to do the new gift sets in like the plastic thing now, but it's just not as good. So the next one, EOSG the Game Maker at Dawn Knight X said, my hopes this year are the same as every year. Bring the power level of the game way down. It's boring seeing the same few cards all the time. And severely reduce counter spells or provide more options to counter them. The game is only fun if you get to play it. Interesting. So bring the power level of the game way down, which I do agree, because every new standard set that has come out has pretty much broken a format. And it never used to be like that, ever. But every set has pretty much broken a format. Mainly standard, but there's been some other formats too that have gotten broken. Modern, Legacy, Vintage, stuff like that. Severely reduce counter spells or provide more options to counter them. It is interesting because if I were to count how many counter spells are probably in standard right now, there's probably a crap ton. And then even if you look at the amount of counter spell options we have in historic, there's a crap ton as well too. But provide more options to counter them. I don't know. Like, so I guess I would ask Dawn Knight X, what would you suggest to be some options to counter the counter spells besides playing control itself? Would it be discarding hands? Would it be making more uncounterable creatures? Stuff like that. It's sort of a tricky way, sort of a tricky balance there, and I'm not a balance person at all. So I'd be interested in hearing what you think would be a way to fix that. And then last but not least is Shannon Sprigg 12. They said, I want to see more expansions of the competitive scene, both digital and paper. Hopefully they find a good balance of the two. Well, we know what happened this year was, due to the pandemic, and they had to cancel all the GPs or the Magic Fest, and they had to scramble to figure out a way. And I still don't understand the competitive scene at all. Like, how you even are eligible to compete in, the highest tournaments. I have no idea. I feel like they need to just make it simple, right? Or maybe they have. I have not paid attention at all. I've stopped paying attention to Pro Magic the past 2 years. Like ever since Arena came into the forefront, I don't pay attention to Pro Magic at all. I have no idea who's who anymore. Ranked sealed deck on Arena. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I didn't realize they don't have ranked sealed on Arena. More cool crossovers. I agree with that too. So those were some of your hopes for Magic in 2021. You know, if you have any more, you can send them to me on Twitter or email me at mtgzuby@gmail.com. I'd love to hear it. So some of my hopes for Magic in 2021, we'll start off from the bottom, go to the top, is better quality control of cards printed in the US. So as I would normally get a case of cards, like I'm stopping doing getting cases and all that. But as I got a case of cards this year, I had, I think, 2 out of the 4 cases I got this year were from Japan, and then the other 2 were from the US. So, and they were English, they weren't Japanese cards, but you can see like where they were printed on if you look on the bottom of the booster pack. And and I think it was Theros and Ikoria that I got from Japan, and Core Set 2021 and Zendikar came from the US. So when and I say that because when all the cards I got, the cases of cards I got from Japan, the cards were fine. Like the foils never pringled up or anything like that, and they never folded up. They're completely fine, felt very sturdy, did not feel flimsy, and just felt like normal Magic cards we used to get, 10, 20 years ago. Any of the cards I got in the US, the foils started to immediately curl, like just right out of the box. So it's they need to figure out what's going on with that, and they need to fix that. And as you've seen on Twitter and on Reddit and all that, it's just getting worse. It's getting worse. My next hope is don't make Spell Table paywalled. So since WotC has acquired Spell Table, and since they've updated their terms of service to talk about monetization of Spell Table in their terms of service, we don't know what kind of monetization. I just really, really hope they don't make Spell Table paywalled, because if they do, then it's going to be the dumbest mistakes Wizards does, and then another competitor is just going to prop up, and just everybody's going to move away from Spell Table at that point. Spell Table is probably one of the best things to come out of 2020 to be able to play Magic in this pandemic. So don't do something stupid with it, Wizards, please. Like, yeah, if you want to do like cosmetics and stuff like that, sure, whatever, fine. But if you make it paywalled to where you have to pay to be able to play it, people are gonna jump ship faster than you can, think of. And then, of course, for number 3, slow down on the products. I don't think that's going to happen at all, but hey, it's one of my hopes. Slow down on the products. Another hope that I have for Magic in 2021, I don't have Commander and Arena in here because I doubt it's going to happen. So I put in Historic Brawl Q in Arena. I know they've sort of tested with that, but, I would rather play Historic Brawl than Standard Brawl, because I don't really play Standard at all anymore. I just mainly play Historic. So let's try some Historic Brawl, right? The times I've played it with friends and all that, it's been fun. But let's get Historic Brawl a queue every day in Arena. Let's do it. And then my number one hope for Magic the Gathering 2021, and oh god, I would hope this happens. I doubt it, but it's a lot of these won't be coming true, but I hope there is a Legend of Zelda Secret Lair crossover for the 35th anniversary of Legend of Zelda in 2021, because it'll be 35 years that the original Legend of Zelda game has come out. Was it 1986? I think it was. Yeah, 1986 is when the first Legend of Zelda game came out. And if they made a Legend of Zelda Secret Lair crossover, oh my god, I'd die. I would just buy it and just, oh my god, I'd love it. I'd love it so much. I love Legend of Zelda. Right? You've seen pictures of my like little Zelda shrine if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. So I would love for this to happen. So those are my hopes for Magic in 2021. Like I said, again, what are some of your hopes? Let me know out there, and, send me an email or shoot me on Twitter. All right, we're going to start wrapping up this episode. Our next 2 topics are not Magic related at all, and I do this every year. I talk about the best movies of 2020 and the best video games of 2020. So let me go and start off first with the best movies of 2020, and that's going to be really quick. Nothing Nothing was the best movie of 2020. Yeah, I saw a bunch of movies that came out this year, and none of them were that great. I can't even think of a single one that I even like would really, really, really watch again. Like, I saw the new Mulan that came out. That was decent, but I don't think I'd ever watch it again. And then, there was the Wonder Woman 1984 or Wonder Woman 84. It was not good at all. It was crap. Oh my gosh. So yeah, just nothing was good for movies this year. So we'll move on to the best video games of 2020. Starting off from the bottom. So 2020, with it being a pandemic, got into a lot of video games as well as Magic. So starting off at number 7 is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I've been playing the crap out of this, just multiplayer. My go-to mode is Team Deathmatch. I love Team Deathmatch because it's like the closest to old school kind of FPS games. You remember back in the day when you would do multiplayer FPS games, you go into a lobby and just shoot and kill each other, and there was no grinding, there was no levels, there was none of that, no leveling your guns, getting new cosmetics. It's just go in there, pew pew a bunch of people, and get out. It's about it. And you just had tons of fun. And Team Deathmatch is like the closest to that sort of mentality of it. And my wife and I were Call of Duty fanboys, fangirls, and all that. I have every single Call of Duty ever come out, and it's become a yearly tradition for us to get the new one and play it a shit ton and just talk about it because we love it. It's become a couples thing lately. All right, so our next game coming at number 6 is World of Warcraft Shadowlands, the new World of Warcraft expansion. Definitely enjoyed it a lot. I'm not playing it too much right now because I've already got 2 level 60s, and I'm just doing some of the end game stuff. But the leveling of it was great. The story of it, I'm really, really enjoying. I'm kind of waiting for a new content patch to drop to get on more with the story. Covenant idea is really fun. Very, very great, and I love the reducing the levels and making leveling a lot easier to get through instead of having 120 plus levels to do. So overall, really great patch, and I think it's been one of the better expansion releases that we've had for World of Warcraft. Coming in at number 5 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. I guess that's what you'd call it, or the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake for PS4. I only ever played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 back when I was a kid, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I never even played 1, so it was fun. It's the thing that I really, really enjoyed it. It's just such a fun pick-me-up game that I can play for like maybe 20, 30 minutes, if that, and feel okay just putting it down. And that to me is great, and the game's really fun. Like, it was hard for me at first to get, how to do the combos, and after I read and saw a few like YouTube videos of just some basic stuff I can do, it got a lot more fun where you can just pull off like a crap ton of combos. It's just so good. Coming in at number 4 is Ghosts of Tsushima. I loved this game. Like, this was the perfect love letter to old school samurai movies and all that. And I've seen all of all the Akira Kurosawa samurai movies, Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, Rashomon, all those. And I'm sure there's others I'm forgetting as well too. But Zatoichi and all that. Like, I love samurai culture. I love like the samurai history. I even took some Kumdo back in the day. It's the Korean version of Kendo. The sword fighting, martial arts sword fighting, and really fucking hard, by the way. Holy shit. So much fun. And Ghost of Tsushima was the perfect love letter to it. It's such a fun game. The story I absolutely loved, and just overall, I loved the game. Yeah, I do have some complaints of it. Like, it felt a little bit too checkbox chore list type thing where go here, kill this, do that. But, overall, it was the characters of the game that I really responded to, and just the story as well, too. I loved it all. Just great game. Would love to play something similar of that style again. Next up, number 3 was Doom Eternal. So I loved the Doom 2016, and I also actually played through Doom 1 and 2 this year as well too. I got it on the Nintendo Switch, and God, Doom 1 and 2, the music of those games are fucking amazing. Doom 1, I always used to think Doom 2 was the better game, but after playing through them both, I think I enjoyed Doom 1 more. But going back to this Doom Eternal, when I first started playing it, I didn't like it because I'm like, I'm running out of ammo so quickly. I'm dying a lot and all that stuff. But once you learn like that you're supposed to use up all your ammo and, you know, do the for whatever the hell they're called, the moves to be able to replenish your ammo and all that stuff, and just the way you just got to move around, like the game gets freaking intense. Even near the end of the game, I had to put it on the easiest mode, and even then, I'm like getting close to dying and all that stuff. Like, it's not an easy game, but holy shit, was it fun. From start to finish, it was a fun-ass game, and oh my gosh, I will definitely play through it again. I want to get the DLC as well and play through that. Such a fun game. Great game. If you are a fan of the Doom series, that is one of the better games of the entire franchise, if not the best one. Next up, at number 2, it's a series that I have never played before, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and that's Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've never played an Animal Crossing game before. When I used to see my wife and kids play it on the Wii, whichever Animal Crossing game that was, I would just look at it and be like, this is dumb. Like, why would you play this? And then until when we got it on the Switch, I fell in love with it. I loved it so much that I had to get a second Switch and get my own version of the game. And I have dumped hundreds of hours into it, and I love it so much. It's so good, so fun, and it's like kind of the perfect wholesome game for 2020 as well, because everything's just happy. Just there's nothing bad going on in the game, and it's fun. I don't even know how to describe it. It's very addicting as well too, and you don't even realize, like, oh no, 2 hours just passed by. So yeah, my number 1 game of 2020, and if you know me, you probably won't be surprised, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So this is a game that we had been waiting on for a long time, and playing through this game, just seeing it reimagined into the graphics we have now compared to when we originally played it back in 1997 is just phenomenal. Like, yeah, okay, so part 1 of the remake only features, you know, Midgar, which in the original game was only about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay. They stretched it out to 40 hours, and 40 plus hours, I should say. And yeah, that may seem like a lot, but oh man, it's so good. Oh god, the whole game was just great from start to finish. Even if you played the original, even though you know the events that are going to happen in the game, I will say you'll still be surprised, though. That's all I'm going to say, is you'll still be surprised at some of the events in the game. And I loved it. Loved it from start to finish, and it's definitely a game I'm going to replay through, probably when part 2 gets closer to coming out. But great game. Loved the epic battle music of the final boss. Oh my gosh, I listen to that soundtrack every once in a while. It's so good. So there you have it. Those are the best video games of 2020 for me, and I think that about wraps up this episode here. So that's it. That's the annual episode of Magic with Zuby of, you know, ending the year of 2020. You know, let me know what you all think, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And you know what? Stay safe tonight, and stay safe, you know, for 2021. And I hope your year is decent and goes well. So thank you all for listening and watching. Have a great day.